Hey there everyone, it's AJ Van Rixtel and it is time for my Inktober showcase. So this is my Inktober book. I'm really happy with how I managed to do the challenge and do every drawing for the whole 31 days. So just thought I would begin by saying that I started off, I put in the book the little prompt list and the official rules for that, just as a reference so that when I was out and about I could get to those easily. So day one was Swift, and I decided to do a little scene of trees with some sort of elf character walking through, and I really enjoyed this piece. I managed to spend a bit of time on this. I probably spent about 4 or 5 hours doing this, just little bits and pieces, and I learnt a lot, like with the cross hatching and making the thick and thin lines. And I thought I'd add a few little critters here and there, a little deer over there and a squirrel there and a rabbit there. I also then toyed with this idea of making the black, like the foreground, like be jet black to do that. And I also created a bit of a border. So day two was divided, and I thought I would do the comic panels divided. So I did 2 comic panels, and then I thought I did it with this mage girl attacking this sort of slime type thing, and then the slime divided all over her and she's like, oh, what happened? So I really wanted to make it look as though she was in a cave, and again I think I captured that quite well. This one again is another one that I'm really happy with. I thought I'd kind of do like sort of postcode sort of style type thing with the border again. The thing was poison, so I thought I'd do a dystopian type setting with like a pool of black tar or poisonous type things there, a bit of a dead cow in the background as well as some dead trees. And I really enjoyed the way I managed to get these clouds to look up here. I'm not quite sure about this bit here, but certainly this bit here I really did like doing, as well as I got the black sort of silhouette there and a few of the black silhouettes there. So here I ventured into my liquid ink, which I wanted to start getting to grips with. I was originally going to try and be a bit clever with it and do two of these, to like the same image, but do like the page going down and then under the page underneath it was going to be under the water. But I didn't nail it as much as I would have liked, so I kind of just turned it into just this one piece here, which you can see. And I really like the way I managed to get this steampunk style submarine exploring thing quite well. And I quite like the effects that I got with the sort of sea life underneath there and the mine as well. Day 5 I struggled a bit with this. I wasn't particularly keen of the actual picture in the end that I came up with, but I'm really quite happy with the way I came up with the grass, and I just decided to go with line, and like you're lining up to get to the door and then you get to another line, and that's kind of like the theme that I thought for that, and I just thought I'd do a bit of a backgroundy type thing for it as well. So Oh Hell, which is day 6, and the theme for that was sword. So I figured I would do some sort of like smallish character, sort of chibi style character with a really big sword facing a dragon, and I'm really happy with how I got the detail on the dragon's face. I think it kind of like stands out and it's coming out of the panel, and I quite like this piece actually. I probably would refine it a bit more just to make it a bit neater, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. So the next day was Shy. This was day 7. So for this one I needed to do it really quickly. I was busy animating for the whole day and I was like, oh crap, I've got literally nothing done for Inktober, and this took me 15 minutes, and it's actually one of my favourite pieces. This is actually also going to be a creature. At the time I drew this, it wasn't, but I'm doing National Novel Writing Month now, and this kind of resembles one of the creatures in that. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. So this one was Crooked, and this was day 8, and I really enjoyed kind of making this sort of tower thing. I started off at the bottom and kind of wound my way up, and then I went a bit steampunk style. I ran out of time, unfortunately, on the day to finish it, so I do need to go back and finish this one. But my goal was completed with actually doing the ink drawing. So this one was day 9. And with day 9, I didn't actually stick with the theme this time. I wanted to just draw. I'd already had an idea that during Inktober I was going to do like poses like this sort of thing, and I really enjoyed doing this. I particularly enjoyed making the eye. I felt as though the eye really came out. I do believe the ear is a little bit off, but I can actually quite live with that. The character is from a different race, so it might be that their ears are slightly different. My favourite part for this, as well as like the eye and the thing, is this like sort of brooch thing that I managed to do, and this ink here. And again, I'm just really happy with the way that turned out. So day 10 was Gigantic, which I thought I would do in the style that Lethal Chris does. I really enjoyed doing this. He kind of gets this big sort of creature coming through, and then you get like this standing up chap here watching this gigantic thing, and I thought it would be quite nice to like do almost like a child Cyclops staring through, but they're still just huge, along with like the big tree. I quite like how I got the tree out as well there. So day 11 was Run, and I just started drawing, and I wanted to kind of work on a pose as well with this, and I really liked the pose, and I thought I'd do some sort of Android type thing running. My novel in National Novel Writing Month is based on like androids and things, so to get to work on like drawing a bit of an android was really helpful. I kind of did some sort of things at the back there, a bit from like sort of My Hero Academia for that, and I really the way I got the panel to do this kind of still signifies the movement, and I quite like how that worked out for that. So day 12 the theme was Shattered, and this kind of tied in nicely for one of the sort of themes in my second novel, which is due to be released on the 30th of November. You can go check out my trailer video for that. I'll post a little card up in the top there. So this one, I decided to use this image, to create this image, and use this for the back cover of my novel. I will just quickly splice that in there. I've actually completed that now, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So over the next couple of days, what I decided to do was focus a bit on characters and just creating characters. So for this one, the theme was Rain, and this one, the theme was Fierce. So I kind of just drew the two characters, and I really enjoyed how these ones turned out. And I kind of limited myself to the colours I was using with the liquid inks. So I managed to get these two relatively different things with pretty much the same inks that I was using. So I'm really happy with that. I wasn't feeling particularly well when I made this one, so it's not as good as, and I haven't finished it yet. But this was, I can't remember what the theme is for that anymore. But I enjoyed making it, but I haven't got around to finishing it, and I decided to splice in the little creature there that I created on the previous day. Again, this was another one where due to like work commitments and things, I just didn't have as much time as I'd like to have properly focused on it, but I was committed to doing a drawing every day, so I thought I would just quickly do one. This is the actual first this is the first image that I've done using my markers. The reason why I didn't do as many marker work is because it ended up doing this on the back of the page, and I didn't want to run out of pages in the book, so I kind of limited myself to that. But at this point I was happy that I was going to definitely have enough pages to do, because I was originally planning on doing double page spreads for a lot of the pieces, but in the end I didn't do as many double page spreads as I wanted to. Filthy. And this has to be one of my favourite pieces of the entire project. I really enjoyed creating this kind of like sort of backstreet grimy type thing, where you've got these two people walking by, completely ignoring what's going on, and sort of like a cooking place, and somebody's literally just dropped water with like fish guts and all sorts on top of this girl that's sat there, and you've got somebody who's foraging for food in the dustbins. As I say, I really enjoyed making this piece, and I quite like some of the effects that I managed to get here with that. This one was a fun one to work on. I can't remember what the theme was for this one again, but as I say, I really enjoyed doing this and getting like the sort of streaks of red in the hair with the eyes and stuff. It kind of reminded me of an original character that I've been working on. This one is called Deep, and I thought I would do like this precarious rope bridge type thing above a deep cavern. Originally I drew it this way, but when I flipped it around when I scanned in the image, I actually felt as though it was much better this way. Oh, you can't see that there. I actually so I flipped it round this way because I felt as though it was a much better depth in an image for that. So this one again was a bit of a different one. I'd originally been doing relatively clean lines, but then I got, sorry, my cat's just trying to get in, and I know she can use the cat flap, so she's fine. So sorry about that. So I thought I'd use more jaggedy lines, just to kind of create a different sort of feel to the piece. And again, I quite like it. I quite like the bit of the background and things. Again, it's sort of another one that I really enjoyed. So on this one, I was meant to record myself whilst I was doing this, but unfortunately, the thing didn't record, and I ended up not doing it. But I wanted to practice a bit of perspective as well whilst I was doing this, and so I made sure that I followed the laws of perspective, going down to the horizon line, and then created like this sort of dystopian type thing. And I believe the theme for this was trail, so we've got like sort of trail going down there. I do plan on actually adding a bit of colour to this one at one point. I've printed it off, and I'm going to add a bit of colour, but I'm not in the actual book. So towards the end, my shifts at work changed, so I found myself with less time to actually do the challenge. But I was still committed to making sure that I did the challenge. So last week, or the week before, should I say, I was literally doing this as quickly as I possibly could once I got back from work. So I decided to just quickly do a character. I mean, I think it took me about 30 minutes to do this. So it's still a bit rough, but I actually quite like the way I managed to get the hands, even though it was quite rough. Maybe thinking about things too much is a bad thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I probably will work on this a little bit more just to make it a bit more refined. But yeah, again, another one where I was literally just had to quickly make something, so it's not as refined as I'd liked it to have been. So on this day, again, I've not actually finished this. It was just another one where I didn't have time, and I just wanted to do something a bit simple, just to get me through the day for that. Another one which was a bit rushed, but I quite like the way it is. It could be better, but it's kind of got a sort of rough style to it, which I quite enjoy. This was when I had more time because it was on a Saturday, so I didn't have work or anything like that. So I managed to actually do this as a recording as well, which you probably saw last week. I'll put a card for that in the video so you can see that. But this was again using liquid ink and this sort of style where I do the thing, and I've got like the sort of trees in the background. I quite like the way I managed to get these trees, and really enjoyed it. And you've got the sort of genie effect there coming through the lamp. I was working on something else at the time, so again I just quickly went and did something random for that. As you can see, it's still not quite finished, but I wanted to make sure that I did something. So this one again, another rushed one. I think it was Monday, and I was just like, let me get something done and finish and thinking for it. So I thought I'd do it as a sort of chibi style skeleton. Another quick one. I'm quite happy with this one actually. Although it's very small and it's not that big. If I just bring it up here slightly, although it's not that big, it kind of works a little, and I just really quite enjoyed that. And then this is the last day. This was masks, and I spent a bit of time doing the drawing, the pencil work for this, just getting it right. And I thought I'd do like 2 dragon mask type things, and get the sort of smoky effect there. But yeah, so that's it for me and Inktober. My voice is now going, unfortunately. So I'm really happy that I completed this challenge, and I'm glad that I got to show you all of the days that I did. I'm now starting National Novel Writing Month, or I've already started it, and I'm doing quite well with that, and I'm really happy. So go check out my Facebook page for updates on my National Novel Writing Month escapades, and until next time, ta-ra!